Welcome to the Put On Waivers Media Group, home of the Put On Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
And welcome, everybody, to the glorious episode of the Put On Raiders podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, and as always, I am podcasting on the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSP is my Twitter handle, so check me out there. Here with Coach B, and we are gonna. I know you're used to seeing him on the USC show, but he's a Charger fan. I'm a Raider fan, so I just want to get some perspective on the AFC West. I guess the shades are on, so the future must be bright. I mean, the lightning bolts must be like, firing off out there in Los Angeles.
Hey, listen.
Oh my God.
It was crazy because when you talk about the draft, right? It's not that I wasn't happy with our picks. I just felt like we could have picked them differently in the sense that I didn't want Omarion Hampton at 22, right? I think that's not what the pick that I wanted. I feel like we could have got a running back later. And we should have went after a safety because we went through like four safeties opposite Derwin James last season, where we were calling people off the bench.
So Malachi Starks was on your radar.
That was really on my radar. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because we went through four safeties. We were calling Marcus May off the bench. We're calling guys off their couches just to come play meaningful snaps for us in meaningful games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bring 13 years vet Tony Jefferson. Like, we're trying to bring in guys who, they know the system, but we need a young guy opposite Derwin James. So Malachi Starks was there. I felt like we could have got a bit more bang for our buck with Omarion Hampton, with getting somebody later on, right? I feel like we could have gotten, I was all in on Woody. I'm going to be honest. I'm so mad that he went to Houston. So mad he went to Houston because Woody is the kind of guy we needed.
And I think looking at, and we're here, Coach B, talking about a little AFC West draft here. With him, and he follows the Chargers. So I think one thing too is the Najee Harris. It all depends on how good Najee Harris is. Do you feel like do you feel like Najee Harris? Well, I think Omarion Hampton is a better prospect right now than Najee Harris is. But you will see Najee Harris behind your offensive line. We'll see how we'll see how that works. But I think they're kind of the same run you over kind of back, right? I mean,
they're running the contact. They're running the contact back.
Didn't you with that being said, when you talk about Woody and maybe some other running backs, was that a guy? What did you want that? Would you want him because of that reason? You want him because like a variety in the backfield?
Well, no, I just felt like Omarion Hampton. To me, I wasn't very high on him anyway. Right, so let's start there. I wasn't a big fan. I felt like he ran the contact a lot. I felt like, in the NFL, you're not going to be able to run the contact and get away with it, right? I mean, that's that 3 yards in a cloud of dust type of offense. And I felt like I should have known when our GM said we want to draft a back similar to Najee Harris. I should have known then. When he said that, I just dismissed it, right? Because that running style is just run the contact. We need somebody with breakaway speed. We don't need to try to methodically. We've been so stuck in the Chargers to try to methodically move the ball like down the field that we need home run hitters at this point. We need home run hitters that's going to take pressure off of Justin. We need home run hitters that's going to take pressure off the offense. Whether it be receiver, whether it be running back, we need weapons that are going to be home run hitters.
Because it's with the Zebras on the field. It is difficult to have the 10, 9, 12 play drives because eventually they can call penalty on anything.
It's going to be some mistakes. Some mistakes going to happen. Yeah. And I feel like we need with our starting quarterback, who I still believe is a top 5, top 6 quarterback in this game, argue with a wall. I mean, that's just what I feel about it. Like, I'm not going to argue that. I feel like you're going to need somebody who's going to be able to say, okay, and that's what JK did with us. JK was 3 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, and then boom, big run.
Yeah.
Boom, big run, right? Second half, he had wore you down, and now he had to breakaway speed to get somewhere. Omarion Hampton does not run away from anybody. Najee Harris does not run away from anybody. You know what I mean? Like, we have Sonny Badal, and I like him, but he's a third down back at best. That's what he
Okay.
is.
Okay. So let's go kind of roll through some of these real quick. We got Trey Harris in the second round. I
Yeah.
do like Arande Gatson the second tight end
Yeah.
out of Syracuse. Give me some guys who you like in this draft class. You needed a running back. You just wanted them.
Later on.
You
Yeah.
just didn't want them at 22. Okay, which
Right.
is
No, it wasn't. It
amazing.
wasn't that we didn't need a running back. It was that we
Yeah,
definitely needed a back. It's just that high right there, and I feel like we panicked. If you realize we were the only team to use the whole clock in the draft, we used the whole clock. We came
in
down to like last second.
in the first round.
Yeah, like to the last second. I think in the whole draft, I think we used the only team that used the whole, and we panicked. I feel like it was a panic pick. I don't feel like it was a pick that said, "Oh, this is." I feel like we were on, from what the reports came out, we were on the phone with the Eagles trying to trade back, and we didn't get a deal done, and then we panicked and made the pick. I felt like that's how it happened. But I mean, I do like Arondé Gaston, right? I do like him. I felt like we could have. There's like I said, for our draft, it's not that I don't like the guys we got. I felt like we could have gotten more value later on. Like Rodney Gatson, Trey Harris, love the picks. I feel like we already knew we needed a receiver. That was not a question. Rodney Gatson, I feel like that's Greg Roman's Isaiah Likely, right? If you look at when
Yeah.
he's Isaiah Likely type of player, so I feel like that's what he wouldn't got in for him, right? So I feel like we're fine. I feel like there were other picks that we could have gotten later on. Basically, we could have gotten more value guys for the team immediately,
Mm-hmm.
and then said, okay, we could have got our running back later. We could have gotten. I mean, I would like to see if we were going to move up for tight end. I didn't know that run on tight end was going to happen like it did.
Yep.
It's kind of surprising, but yeah, that's it. I'm good with that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. No question about it. Well, let's see who else we got in this draft. And for the Chargers here, anything on the edges and I know they picked up a defensive lineman from defensive tackle Caldwell from Oregon.
No, I knew we needed it. I knew we needed it. And here's the thing: all our picks theoretically were gone in the first round. The guys that we wanted.
Yeah.
Derek Harmon went right above us, right? We needed it. We have to address the D tackle in our defense. That's what we needed.
Yeah.
Puna Ford not being there like that. We let some players go though. I thought we should have kept. That I felt like we needed to address some things. So I'm not really. There was not a really. If you want to ask me for a bad pick, I would say our only bad pick, based on where we took him, was Omarion Hampton. That was the only bad pick. I would feel like if somebody said, if you had to say a bad pick, that would be the only bad pick.
And I do think that some of these teams, I'm kind of surprised with and I don't have a list of your undrafted free agents, but the one thing that was weird to me is that some of these teams just we got a big running back in the first round, but we didn't double up. And
Right.
I felt like why? I mean, like why? And we have this kind of quality of picks as far as running backs. Why not just double up on that
Right.
position? Because it's a position that these guys can drop like flies. You don't know Mario Hampton, Ashton Genty,
Right.
really good running backs. Like we don't know what it's like when they have to get hit by NFL players. We just we just don't know what it looks like yet. So why not just make sure you do what you can to back
Secure
up
the position.
back the position, because the Raiders are still like they're one play away from having I forgot who our backup running backs is. You know what I mean? To be in a situation where you have a real a guy who you don't want backing up
Right.
or playing meaningful reps and games for you.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing. Like that's why I said I felt like we could have, with this running back class, we could have doubled up. We could have, they were coming at a premium. I felt like. So again, that's just me, right? That's just the way how I
operate. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the one draft pick I think I loved that was sneaky was the RJ Mickens draft. I mean, that draft pick. He was a highly touted safety that dropped to us in like the 6th round. Like I was surprised.
Yeah,
Um,
that could be. I did see that when I was because like it almost feels like again like how many times can a really good defensive player just fall into the laps of the Ravens? Like I just like
man,
I'm sitting here like we're just laughing about it as soon as that pick because me and Solo Lopez did a live show for it, and I'm sitting there saying to myself, are you really serious that this dude really is gonna just get through the whole first round? I understand safety is probably drafted the way running back is drafted in the NFL for defense, but
right.
there were some safeties, some teams with safeties that have safety help where, you know, damn. I mean, it kind of made sense to draft Malachi Starks and then the running back, and Raheem Mostert is the backup running back for the Raiders.
Right.
So that's what I was saying. I don't want to have him start because he doesn't play 17 games anyway. So
Absolutely not.
yeah, so he's not doing that. So it is what it is. But yeah, thoughts about that part of it. Yeah, I think that's. But listen, I do think in the off season itself, I think one of the guys who to go get Mekhi Becton to
Yeah.
play inside, like just to give me the road grade. I mean, you guys wanted to go along with Zion Johnson. You guys want a road grade play action, play action. You have
Mhm.
opportunities now if you can develop Trey Harris. Mike Williams is there, but then you also have Lad McConkey, who definitely was a guy who everybody liked
Yeah.
coming out of Georgia as well too. So, in the passing game, do you feel like you have enough weapons to make a run here?
No. No. We haven't addressed it enough. You know what I mean? Like to me, we haven't addressed it enough. And this is
Would you
always
have been okay with a trade for Pickens?
yes. Yeah. Because I feel like Harbaugh is going to be able to handle the personality,
Yep.
and I feel like Justin's going to get him the ball.
Yeah.
Justin's gonna get him the ball. You better be worried about going to get it. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna get you the ball, and you better be worried about catching it because he throws 1,000 miles per hour. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So you
Yeah.
better. I mean, I would have been okay with a trade for Pickens. I was okay with a trade for DK. Like right, if we would have hit the
Yeah.
trade break button for DK, I was okay for that too.
Yeah.
Um, I'm still looking at a Mark
Just,
Cooper.
just a bona fide number one.
Yes, just give me somebody who's going to threaten the top of a defense, who's going to make it easier for Lad, who's going to make it easier to work the intermediate game, who's going to make it easier for us to catch the ball in space and run. Right now, we don't have the person to do that.
Yeah.
We don't.
Makes
Like
sense.
at the end of the day, we're still trying to figure that piece out, and that's been the biggest piece that's hindered Justin's whole career. Somebody who can go get it consistently catch the football. It was supposed to be Palmer. It was supposed to be Mike, but Mike was often injured. Palmer couldn't catch consistently. You get 3 catches out of him, and then when you need him next game, he disappears. Um, Keenan was not that guy since Justin's been there. You know what I mean? So it's just been one of those things where we haven't had somebody who can threaten the top of a defense, and I still don't think we have that person. And so now we're playing a lot of what I call in the box football. We're playing 15 yards and in because we're going to play this game where our bread and butter is going to be right in the middle of the field between the line of scrimmage and 15 yards.
Yep. Folks, I know you're in charge of talk, but this, like I said, we are doing a little trip around the AFC West. We're talking about the Chargers draft with Coach B. He follows the Chargers. So you still think you have holes there. So obviously, so I think McConkey year two will be fine, and I think that the offense will go as far as you can develop Trey Harris. I mean,
So,
yeah. So if he develops into a receiver, a three receiving threat, I think that would be something that would help the Chargers as well. From an outsider's perspective, did the Raiders do enough in this offseason to make you feel like okay when you play them, you have two really tough games?
well, I always say we split with the Raiders anyway. So I think those games are going to be tough from a Chargers perspective anyway, no matter what happens, right? Now we're going to have to worry about play action with Gino, dealing with Genty, because Gino's a play action guy.
Bowers.
Um, Bowers, that's always the worst and our biggest nightmares because now I got another tight end I have to deal with. So it's going to take Derwin not being
Mhm.
able to play high. He's going to have to come down in the box, have to
Mhm.
worry about Bowers like he had to always, you know what I mean, worry about with the guys with Chiefs. So
Oh
it was one
yeah.
of those things where we have to play, he has to have to play Bowers, right? So again, I think that we're going to split again. You know what I mean? It's just going to be what it is. It doesn't matter how bad our teams are. We're going to split.
Mhm.
Uh, I feel like we're gonna you win at home, we win at home. The one thing I wonder is if how how many more games did you guys is how many more games does Pete Carroll help you guys win? Are you guys jumping 2 games more than last season? Are
Mhm.
you a 3 team better than last season?
Yeah.
Um, I would say probably one, maybe one. I say two. Pete Carroll effect. He seems to get the best of his people and have them run through the walls and be able to play. Know the X's and O's, right?
Yeah.
I think that was what was faulting guys before with like AP. He had the guys who could run through a wall for him when he was intern, but the X's and O's and the
Getting ready during the
profession,
week. Yeah, that's stuff
yeah,
like
the
that.
professionalism as a head coach.
Yeah.
Not that he's not professional, but the professional as a head coach, the etiquette as a head coach. Pete Carroll's going to be able he's going to tie those loose ends up, which are going to put you guys in, especially in
Oh, so you mean Pete Carroll's not going to like a Instagram post that says your best offensive player is getting traded or wants to get traded by a fake account
no, I don't,
by ML football?
I don't think Pete Carroll will do that. Just
Yeah,
my
me
opinion.
either. I'm going on a limb. I'm going on a limb. So I'm going on a limb. So I mean, like I said, I mean for me, again, I thought that I know you like Dart more than I do, and I like Sanders more than you do. I would have if I had that first round, then I would have been over. I would have been doing cartwheels in the driveway, like you know what I'm saying. As far as that, if they went out there and
Right.
actually went there and got the quarterback, like you know what I'm saying, like you know, I mean, like the way it played out, I was like, they took the Raiders took two offensive linemen in the third round.
Yeah.
One guy's from the. It took three FCS players. I mean, that's something where I'm like, it's hard enough to make the league as it is, but I mean, taking three FCS players, I think that's something that's a choice. That's a
Right.
choice. That's a choice.
Right.
It's the reason why they play FCS. You know, but I would have definitely grabbed one of those third round picks. I definitely would have drafted Sanders there. I think you're getting great value. You don't have to worry. You have to worry about the. I think the rumor that we heard in Radio Land was the fact that they didn't want a Cousins Penix situation.
Mm.
And I was just like, bro, like I mean, that's that's a little much for me to take. I think if Gino goes out there for 4 years and becomes a great quarterback for the Raiders, that's wonderful. You develop the quarterback behind him, and then you just trade him like the Patriots did for years and
Right.
years. Like you know what I
I didn't look at it
mean?
like that because I felt like the reason why I look at it like that, especially, and I'm with you, right? I think the world thought in the third round with you guys having 3 picks and they were running back to back pretty much.
Yeah,
Just you guys were going to take Shador at that point,
that's what I
right? Which
thought.
wasn't at the end it was on a bad pick. And like I was telling people during the draft, we've seen Pete Carroll do this, i.e. Russell Wilson. He had Matt.
Yeah,
They paid Matt Flynn and brought in Russell Wilson, and Matt Flynn never played a down. And they were okay with that.
yeah,
Pete Carroll's okay with that.
yeah,
So I didn't think that was a bad idea
100%.
to bring in Shador. And if he beats him out, Pete Carroll's always been about the best players
He's
playing.
always been about that. Like, that's the one
Like,
thing
I
Pete is
don't,
from the first day at SC, from the first day. He's always been about he plays the best people. Like
yeah,
yeah,
it didn't matter. It doesn't
yeah.
matter. So I don't think it was that. I think that he was having seen Gino and been with Gino. I think they were just so secure in that
Yeah.
position that now we've locked that up. And I think, and I could be wrong, but Gino stayed relatively healthy while in Seattle, right? I don't remember him being out a lot.
He didn't,
Could
he,
be
he didn't miss a lot of
wrong.
games. He didn't miss a lot of games.
Right. So, I mean, when you have that kind of stability at the position, um, yeah, I get going to fill all the holes.
Uh-huh.
I understand it.
And I guess we play a bunch of games. I didn't realize this. I gotta look up the actual numbers, but everybody keeps bragging about his numbers in domes. So I gotta actually look up the actual number of
Mm,
what his record is and what his numbers are in Jones. Because everybody keeps other people who do content. We're talking who are just like you know the guys who just like the Raiders can do and the Raiders can't do anything
yeah.
wrong kind of guys. I mean, keep bringing up keep bringing up that fact. So I got to look it up and see where it is. But we'll see what that what they do. I mean, for me, I'm not going to take a. I don't mind them taking that Tommy Malloy guy who's going to be who they're going to try to develop into like a slot like gadget guy. But like the Cam Miller from I mean like I got people on Twitter dropping like Cam Miller videos from North Dakota State. I'm like, bro, like I mean
Oh
let's
yeah.
I'm like let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Hey, we turned our North Dakota State guy into a fullback. We drafted
Dude,
him at tackle.
listen, I'll say one thing: great program.
But yeah,
Absolutely, yeah, a great program. Great program. But
Brandon Staley and them drafted him in the second round as a D tackle, but now he's a fullback for us. 330 pounds.
let's run your biggest worries about the schedule. Like a lot of Raider fans are like, hey, we got the Chargers in week 2. I don't think they looked at the dates though. Even though I think you play them in Brazil, right? The Chiefs' first game of the year or something like
Yeah,
that.
Chiefs are playing Brazil. Yeah,
Play Brazil, but like even with that being said, it's 10 days. You get 10 days off before
right.
you play the Raiders on the 15th. So I know, and it's a Monday night football game. So and then it kind of induces the Raiders to play to go play the Commanders. I actually know that they play week 3. They play no, they week. Oh, I'm trying to look at your schedule.
Oh no, week three, we have the
Yeah,
Broncos.
the Broncos at home. I'm looking
Yeah,
at your schedule, not
Broncos.
mine.
Yeah,
But the Raiders, the Raiders after the Monday night game, the Raiders go to Washington to play Jane Daniels and
yeah.
the Commanders. But yeah, so I mean, so you have that, you have a 4 game stretch here. What are some of the trouble spots and that makes you worried about this upcoming schedule?
I think the trouble spots for me again are the Eagles later on. What we have a late bye, which is good finally. For the last 2 seasons, being having a bye week at week 5 was very irritating. Um, because now we can't heal up or get no time off and be able to regroup for anything. So again, having that Eagles, Chiefs,
That's
Cowboys,
that's fucking
solid,
brutal. That is fucking brutal.
right, and having to go to
That's brutal.
we're at home against Philly. Matter of fact, I'll take it back.
I got it right
And
now. I got it right now.
the
You got it right.
Raiders at home. I'm gonna throw the Raiders game there.
So after the bye, you have the
Yeah,
Raiders at home.
right.
The Chargers have the Eagles at home. Monday Night
Yeah,
Football. They have Sunday they got Sunday at the Chiefs.
yep.
And then you have the Cowboys
We got to go to Dallas.
at Dallas. Don't take the flight to LA because you're playing Houston the week after that. There's
Right.
no
No,
reason.
we're home.
Oh,
We're home.
you're
We're
home.
home. We're home against
You're home.
Houston
So Houston. So
yep,
and then you play at Denver. So
at Denver.
I just look at the fact that you're playing. The first thing you look at is you're playing quality quarterbacks the rest of the season.
Yeah,
So I think that part of it is make sure you grab as many victories as you can on that first half of the schedule
absolutely.
because of because of who you play after that. I mean, that is going to be that is a brutal. That's brutal. That
I
is
mean,
brutal.
and look, they weren't slick. They weren't slick in the scheduling. They brought Jaden back home when we play them. We play Commanders at home.
Yeah.
So they brought Jaden back home, and
Yeah.
they brought CJ back home. They weren't slick. They
Oh
weren't slick
yeah.
when they did that. They weren't feeling nobody.
Yeah. Yeah.
These guys are trying to come home and show out.
Yeah. I wish Chad Bowden was a Trojan back then when we had those guys.
Right.
Right, of course. Talk about that. All right. All right, cool. All right, Red Nation, and Charger fans, we'll come back next time and talk to you about that later as the season kind of gets closer. But just kind of a little quick overview, looking at the AFC West, talk about the Chiefs. I'm just talking about the Chargers. I think the last question I have for you for the Chargers, real quick, is can the Chargers in 2025 win the AFC West?
No, we're not winning the AFC West.
Hmm.
I don't. I think we're an 11-win team this year at best again. Well, I think that if we can stay away from the injury bug,
Mhm.
that's gonna. It's just if you look. I mean, the stretch on the back half of the season is going to take a lot of will and a lot of resolve in finding out what this team's really made of.
Yeah.
I'm not sure with us having to fill rookies in at key spots. I don't think that we're ready for that step yet.
Okay.
I think we're a year away from being a year. I think we're a year away from that, right?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where we're at. I don't think we can overtake it. Or Kansas City gets hit with the injury bug.
Or if Kansas City is the same as they were last year, can they win?
Yeah,
17 one-score games like they did last year,
right.
something ridiculous like that. So we'll
And
see.
again, we took the home game, and because we took the home game against Kansas City in Brazil, we didn't protect that game. We protected that Houston game, and then we have Kansas City late in Kansas City, and that's always disastrous for us because it's the weather.
Yeah,
It's not the weather from the quarterback; it's the weather from everybody else who's the wind is whipping and all that stuff. Because I'm not worried about my quarterback being able to throw in Arrowhead. I'm not worried about that. But what I am worried about is everybody else going to be up to that task to beat them in Arrowhead late in the season when it's going to matter? Because if anything, that's going to be a game for the division.
Yes.
There's something going to come down to it.
Yeah. Sunday Night Football at Pittsburgh's at home, so you don't know whether there. That place will be flooded with Steeler fans. That's really the only cold weather.
Yeah.
Oh, at Denver at the end of the season.
At Denver at the end of the season.
Yeah. So like for a West Coast team, it's for a West Coast team like we do have Denver's only Denver and Kansas City play inclement weather. So you have to worry about that too much.
And then the fact that we travel more than any team this season.
Yes. Yeah, the travel part of it. Yeah. So
37,000 miles this season.
Yeah.
Three trips to the East Coast this season.
Yeah, so that's gonna be tough. It's always Harbaugh's always been good though at a 10 a.m. starts.
Right.
So we'll see. All right, Brand Nation. All right, Chargers. Well, we talked Raiders, Chargers. So we didn't and see when people are still alive. See what happens. So it's all good. All right, peace, y'all.